The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Leela Rhodes and I'll be your moderator today. Thank you so much for joining us here at Netcom Learning, a market leader in promoting lifelong learning, training, and talent development solutions. We are very excited to host today's webinar, Get Started with Adobe After Effects 2022 in 30 minutes. Presenting today's topic is Vishu Aggrawal. Vishu possesses over 8 years of experience in graphic design, web design, UI, UX design, 3D animation, video editing, digital marketing, and virtual augmented reality. He completed his master's in Adobe Creative Cloud and has conducted trainings and consultancy for the big four companies like Accenture, Deloitte, KPMG, World Health Organization, WHO, and many more. When it comes to training, he always follows the in-demand trends in designing landscape and includes the best training practices to boost business productivity while remaining profitable and competitive. He is highly efficient in narrating his real-time professional experiences with his students. Now, please bear in mind that this is still just an overview of a very robust topic. We do offer a collection of technical and business courses that can be tailored toward your specific requirements. If you're interested in a further discussion about any of those, you can make an appointment with our learning consultants through our website at www.netcomlearning.com. Today's session is also being recorded, so you will get access to the recording in the next 24 hours via email. Netcom Learning helps customers build innovative learning organizations by achieving a smarter workforce, adopting change, and driving growth. We do this with our broad catalog of offerings, developing customized learning plans, and our global delivery capabilities. Since 1998, we have been empowering organizations with our managed learning services to help them reach optimal performance results and address challenges. We have 9 practice areas in which we specialize, and they encompass people, process, and technology training. Today's presentation is from the Design and Multimedia practice area. Netcom Learning offers a comprehensive training portfolio for design and multimedia courses, and our upcoming classes include various trainings on Adobe training courses, such as Adobe After Effects training courses from intermediate to advanced, Photoshop Advanced, Web and Video, Adobe InDesign Advanced, Premiere Pro for experienced editors, and much more. And private training to teams is also available. And those learning plans can also be customized to the specific needs of that audience. You can also access a variety of design and multimedia assets, such as the free 1-hour training, free on-demand training, and blogs by clicking on the available webinar handouts. These offerings can also be found with a simple search on our website at www.netcomlearning.com. So in this free webinar today, we will acquire the skills to work with and develop industry-level motion graphics and visual effects and much more. Now, I do want to give you an overview of the logistics before we get started today. To start with, you have the option to adjust the window size to your liking. You can simply hit the escape key and find the zoom button on the top left corner of your GoToWebinar viewer. Everyone has been muted except for our presenters, but you can feel free to submit the questions you have for the presenters in the questions panel, and we will address them at the end of the session today. Also, to get the best out of today's webinar, we've included the slides, courses we've talked about, and marketing assets in the handout section of your GoToWebinar viewer, and you can refer to those to get a better understanding of today's topic. And now I'm going to go ahead and pass the time over to Vishu to present. Vishu, you should be able to share your screen now. Are you with us? You're still muted.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And
Sorry,
I know your name. I've read over it several times, and I don't know what happened.
It's okay, no problems. No problems at all. Okay. Hi everyone. So I hope all of you are able to see my screen. So I'm going to get started with Adobe After Effects 2022 in just 30 minutes here, right? And before we jump into After Effects, and if I do some, technical animations and things in After Effects, let's talk about what we're going to cover up in in the today's session. So we're going to talk about the fundamentals of working of After Effects, like a brief of it, right? Talking about its interface, creating a simple animation. So you get an understanding of what After Effects is capable of, right? And what you can achieve with it, right? So let's first understand what is After Effects, right? And what you can do with After Effects in a brief. So Adobe After Effects is an application which is an industry standard application for creating motion graphics and VFX, right? And if you talk about what is exactly After Effects is, Adobe aims After Effects for creating visual effects, motion graphics, compositing, and the post production for filmmaking, video games, and television productions. Nowadays, if you have heard about UX and UI, right? So in UX and UI, After Effects is used a lot. So you see a lot of UI animations nowadays coming up in the applications and on the web. Even those are created generally in Adobe After Effects and then exported into Ludi animations at a later stage. So even After Effects is being used in the UX industry now. What you can do with it, I think I've already talking about this here, right? You can do motion graphics. You can basically, if you have a still graphics, you can animate them and you can move them, right? You can do compositing in it. It's basically you can do 3D compositing of passes. A little technical word here, but yeah. So when you go to 3D, you can basically render out in passes particular frame and you can composite them in After Effects. You can do chroma removal, etc., etc. You can do rotoscoping in it. You can make 2D animations by masking with the pen tool, and you can extract objects from the video using the rotoscoping techniques in After Effects. You can create effects with particle systems, right, which works basically allow you to create like fire effect, smoke effect. You want to create that, fake effects. You can do that with particle effects over here, and there's a lot more you can achieve with that. What what is that makes After Effects unique? So what are the key features of After Effects we have? The first and the most robust feature, which I personally love to use this, and I'm going to give you a demo also of it, is the text animation. It has an amazing text animation engine to it, right? You have text animators, you have graph editors, 3D animation options here. You can do masking of the path. You can write the text on the path basically, and you can make it follow the path here, right? You can see you can create 3D text and compose it with the real environments. So you have plenty of options in the text animation. And it makes very easy for you can very easily achieve great results with Adobe After Effects text animator. The other features it includes is for the VFX or the visual graphics, right? And you can basically remove some mistakes and distractions from your video. You can add weather of your choice. If you want to do a sky replacement, you can do that. You can do color correction in After Effects, and you can composite 3D geometries in it, right? Which can have some depth to it. And After Effects also comes with a 3D software, which is in the Cinema 4D Lite. It's kind of a mini version of Cinema 4D for enabling you to do 3D animations and 3D composites in After Effects. And when you combine these two robust features of VFX, the visual effects it offers, and the text animator, you can actually achieve very good motion graphics in After Effects, right? You can make your graphics move and you can basically create engaging content, whether you want to create for YouTube, you want to create for your websites, like I said, for apps, UX and UI, or you want to basically create an advertisement out of it. So it could be anything. You can animate your logos, you can bring objects and backgrounds to life, you can create customized transitions for Premiere Pro. So it's a very useful tool for even for video editors. Another feature which After Effects offers you is the expressions. You can do some kind of like scripting, basically some kind of expressions you can write in After Effects, which enables you to basically have advanced functionalities in it and saves a lot of manual work in it. After Effects is also highly used in industry for rotoscoping, right? So if you want to extract uh, people or basically subjects from the videos, then you will use rotoscoping techniques in After Effects, especially in environments which are not controllable, while shooting. Let's say you can't have a green screen, you cannot have a plain background, so you have to rotoscope the character, and you can do all that by the help of rotoscoping. And there's again a great feature which is recently added to the After Effect is the option to do a content aware fill, basically, or automatically doing kind of clone stamping and removing unwanted objects from your videos. Next comes is the another feature which After Effects offers to build in into it is the motion tracking capabilities. So if you want to do a screen replacement of any device, or you want to basically add a follow text to any subject you have in your video, you can do that with the motion tracking techniques in After Effects. You can make your text move with your subjects. You can give footages a graphical feel, right? And you can turn your art into visual effects for your videos. And not the last, but not the last but least, but the main thing which After Effects or all the Adobe products is capable of doing is the integration with the other softwares, and that's what makes Adobe products stand out. So Premiere Pro is the number one software which very well integrates with After Effects. If you're a video editor, After Effects is going to really help you out in creating engaging content and in storytelling. Besides that, it can also help you a lot in your career growth. If you're just a video editor, use Premiere or just use Final Cut Pro, then I will highly recommend that After Effects is a tool which you must use, or you must be using for sure if you're a video editor. Then it also integrates with Auditions. If you want to do some sound corrections for your video clips and all, you can use Audition. You can natively import Photoshop files in After Effects and you can animate them. Same thing goes with Illustrator. You can import native files of Illustrator in After Effects. You can even create compositions out of the Illustrator layers and you can work with them. After Effects also offers you a render engine, which is a media encoder for exporting your videos, and you can basically export videos on our network systems as well with the help of media encoder to speed up the rendering workflow. Then you have another character animator. So character animator basically helps you capture motion using your webcam. So you can basically do some in front of a webcam, right? It will mimic those movements in the character which you have in the character animator, right? And character animator seamlessly works with After Effects. So you can take your character animator projects and work in After Effects, and you can compose it with other elements you have animated in After Effects. So it offers you a great integration with the Adobe software, right? And that's what is also the backbone of After Effects, because it makes the process across different application very, very easy, especially like I said with Adobe Premiere Pro. So that's a short kind of an overview of what After Effects is capable of and what it does. Now we'll get started and do the hands-on in After Effects here. So I'm going to close my presentation here and I'm going to quickly show you After Effects screen on my system. But before I do that, I'm going to share some assets with you. So you can see I have a folder here on my desktop, right? And I have some assets which I will be using in this session. And this is what we will be creating. I'm going to double click to open it. Very sweet small animation, you can see. The road trip coming there, scrolls down. We have an animated documentary. We have some text going around. And that's what it finishes up, right? And I'm going to create all this within next 15 to 20 minutes. And I'm going to see basically how really After Effects basically, we can achieve that very easily with After Effects here. So we're going to see that as we through it. Okay, so my After Effects is up and running now, right? And if you open After Effects for the first time, you're going to see the welcome screen. The welcome screen might look a little different because I've already opened it before. So you might not have the recent projects, but this is how the welcome screen looks like. And I want to straight away jump and create a new project here. So we click on the new project to work on it. And you can see the After Effects interface is now loaded here. So After Effects offers you various kind of workspaces, right? And currently the workspace which I am using is default over here, right? So that's a default workspace. You might be, when you launch After Effects for the first time, and if you're opening it for the first time new project, it might go to the Learn tab, the Learn interface, which it shows you some quick tutorials to get started, right? But I love to always work with default layout. And default layout gives me all the windows generally I need while working with Adobe After Effects. So as you can see, I have the project window here, right? I have the effects control, whatever effects I will be applying to my clips, they will be present in the effects control here. I have a timeline at the bottom, so you have the option of timeline, right, which you can access. Also known as composition in After Effects. Technical word is composition here. You have a composition panel, which this is where you see the preview of your timeline, which I will just show you in a minute. I have the layers panel. We're not going to talk about layers today probably here, so we can leave it, but layers is an individual layer preview, which you can have in After Effects. And to my right, I have all the panels After Effects offers. There are different kind of panels I have. You can simply scroll here, and there's a long list of panels basically here in After Effects we have, from info to content, and there are many more actually which are hidden under the window uh, over here, right? So there are a lot of panels you have. So this panel helps you achieve certain tasks at a particular situation while you're working in After Effects. And the main thing is the toolbar on the top. So you have the toolbar here, right, where you can access different tools. After Effects does not have too many tools like other software. If you go to like Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, they're going to offer you a bunch of tools. But After Effects has very limited tools because it's a video software, and a lot of things you do with panels and effects, right, to be used. So let's get started here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import some of the assets which I have for this project. Now there are multiple ways you can import it. One way I would like to import right away over here is I can click and drag my assets here, right? So I have a background my movie. I have a AI file, the Illustrator file here. I have the Compose SWF. Nowadays no longer used, but yeah, you can still import that in After Effects. And you can see I have a PSD file. So I'm showing the integration also here. You can see I have a Illustrator file, I have a PSD file, and I'm going to use them in After Effects. So I'm selecting all the three graphics essential for this project, and I can simply click and drag it. Actually, I selected four of them, right? Not three. So I have a background, car, composition, and this. So this background will be my main background over here, which I need. So what I will do is I will create a composition based on the background. So I can create a new composition in After Effects by clicking on this icon. That's the most important icon. I'm going to spend a lot of time with this icon to create a new composition, because you can see my timeline is currently inactive because I do not have any composition. I can also click here to new composition, but this is only visible till the time you don't have any composition. Once you create one composition, you will no longer have this button. So that's a button you can click on to create a new composition here. Right? You can have as many as compositions you need in one particular project in After Effects. So we click on the new composition, and you would see that it opens various options for me to do these settings, right? But I don't want to do all that. I don't quite really go into technical things right away. So what I will do is I'll say cancel, and I want whatever settings this video has, whatever resolution, frame rate this video has, it should automatically get a composition out of that. So what I will do is I will simply click and drag it to the new composition, like done. So you can see that I have a new composition available with me, right? And this is your playhead, right? If you press spacebar, you can play back with the After Effects here. And if you have been using After Effects in the older version of you're still using an older version, I will highly recommend you to update to the 2022 version, because there is a great feature in the latest update of After Effects that is known as multi-frame rendering. For the first time, Adobe has really put in efforts to basically enable multi-threaded rendering in After Effects. That means if you have a 8-core CPU, if you have a 16-core CPU, it can use all those cores for doing the calculation faster, right? So it has gone multi-core now in the playback and in the rendering as well. So it's going to really speed up your workflows if you're going to work with heavy projects in After Effects. So we have a video here, right? That's will be just be a background video, which will be just be staying here. So what I will be doing is I will be locking this layer because I don't want to do anything with it. Let it be there. The next thing we need is let's open our sample video here back, right? I will keep this as a reference here. And you can see the first thing we want to write is the road trip over here, right? The road trip. So I go to the text tool, click over here, and I'm going to say road trip. I will select this. I think I'm just going to quickly format this by going to the selection tool, keep it here. I will go to the paragraph options, make it center aligned in the layer, and I'm going to make this text a little bit bigger. So I will not be using the exactly the same fonts and all, right? But almost doing the same thing, I would say. 120 pixels. I will change the font to be Roboto bold, as you can see. And I think I can go to increase the text size to be 150 here. And then keep it here. This. What I will do is I will change its anchor point to be in the center. So I want to scale down in the center here. And if you see here right now in the sample video which I have, we have text coming like this, and then it scales down. See how it's basically coming here, the blur and a nice blur here, right, and visible here. And I can create that effect in few seconds here, right, with the help of text animator. I'm just going to make this text a little bit more bigger, actually 170 here, right. Keep it in the center. I will go to the drop down. I could have also used the preset, by the way. After Effects offers you a bunch of great presets in it, right? But I'm going to quickly create this over here manually with the help of the text engine After Effects has. So go to the animate here. I will take 3 properties here. Scale, because it scales down. And I'm going to add more property, blur. And I'm going to add one more property, the last property, which is the opacity over here, right? Opacity here. And you can see currently they're all on default values. The default value of the scale is 100, the opacity default value is 100, and the blur default value is 0. I will change this default values. So I will make the scale bigger. I don't worry how it looks over here on the screen right now. I'm going to make the blur high like that, and I will probably make the opacity 0, and my text is not visible. And just with one property, now I can animate all the 3 properties which you see here. So you go to the range selector, go to the start, click on the start keyframe here. On the run, go to the 1 second and make this 100%. And there you go. So you can see we have the animated text. And currently it's coming in a sequence. It's coming from road to trip. I want to commit to randomly here. So what I can do is I can go to the advanced settings of the range selector, right? On this random order here. Let me make it visible on my screen. Random order. And you can see now it will come randomly. Done. And we have our animation in place. You can see how easily I did 3 properties here, just modify their default values, and I'm able to get the animated text over here. And once this text comes on the screen, right, settles down, it needs to scale down over here. But before we do that, we will take the compass here, put it on top of it, and keep it on the eye. So if I go here, you would see that while playing, the compass also becomes visible on the eye. And while the compass is getting drawn, and from 1 second to approximately 4 seconds, I'm going to scale this down. So what I will do is I go to the road trip, and I can access the scale parameter of the layers. I can use the shortcuts here. Basically, if you use shortcut P, you can take the position. If you say T, you can access the opacity. If you say R, you can take the rotation. And what I need is scale. So I press the S for scale, and scale property is now visible to me. I'm going to again animate by checking this option of add keyframe. I will go to the 4 seconds and probably scale this down to 40%. Now that's too small. Let's do 60, right? And we can scale this down. Oops, what happened? If you see, our compass is not getting scaled. I wanted the compass to also scale and it's scaling. Not a big problem. And I'm not going to animate the compass manually. What I will do is I'm keeping my cursor over here and I will do this. I will take the advantage of After Effects parent and child. I will tell the child that compass that you are a child of the road trip, and whatever road trip does, you need to also do it. So I go to the compass, go to the drop down, take a road trip here. Done, right? And if you now preview it, you can see the compass automatically scales down over here. Now, while scaling down here at 3 seconds or at 4 seconds, and almost I don't 3.5, I want to say an animated documentary here. And that text is given to me in the PSD file. Remember, we have a PSD file here. So we take the PSD file which has the credits. I will click and drag it over here. Now this PSD file actually has two texts you can see, an animated documentary and your name here. You can just type any name here I want, right? What I will do is currently this text is not editable, but because it's a PSD file, I can access that text and I can animate it. How? I will right click on the PSD file, say create a comp layer, means extract the layers of Photoshop. It will get a pre-comp with credits. If you double click here, I can see its own layer. And over here, what I can do is they are still not editable. Remember, they are still Photoshop layers here. So I will keep both the layers selected, right click again, say create and say convert to editable text. And it will have the exact same properties and everything there. And they are now converted to editable text and I can do anything I want. For example, I will go here and change its color to be green, like kind of a darker green a little bit like that. And I'm going to type the name here. I'm going to copy paste the name because I don't want to spend time, you know, writing the name here. I'm going to copy paste the author's name here, which you can see, right? Directed by. I have both the layers here in this. And if I go back, you can see those changes here because the pre-comp, so it reflects the changes over here in the real time. Now, of course, the alignment is not too great here, which is coming. So I will just do the alignment of this text layers by 4 seconds. Let me do by 4 seconds, right? The animated documentary should come here and this text should come a little down. So not a problem. What we can do is see if I switch the view, I get this. I'm not able to see the background over here. So what I will do is I want to keep this view, but jump to this composition. So I'll go back here. I can use this lock feature in After Effects. Now if I lock the view, right, I can go back to the credits. I can adjust my layer name to anywhere I need. Go to the documentary, sorry. Right, adjust this and go to your name and this. Let me check what's happening. Okay. So I'll just keep this lock. It's like this here. Moving it down. I'm using my shift down arrow and right and left arrows to adjust it where I want to keep it. There we go. And I want to add a quick animations to both of them. So what I will do is at 4 seconds, I will animate an animated documentary first. So what I will do is I'll not do it manually here. I go to the effects and presets. Like I said, there are a lot of effects and presets you have. If you go to the text, there's a whole group of effects you have and which you can access. And the only problem in After Effects is you can't see the preview of this effects. You cannot see what this effect does actually. So what you can do is you can go to the effects and presets, you go to the drop down here, and there's a software which comes with Adobe Creative Cloud is Adobe Bridge. It's a free software which comes installed with After Effects. And if you say click on browse presets, it will open Adobe Bridge for you. You can see it's launching Adobe Bridge, where I can also see the preview of this text styles here. All the presets I have, and there I would say around 200, 300 presets you have for the text animation, and very creative options here available to you. So I'll go back to Bridge. It's going to take, I think, few seconds to launch here, and I will be able to see all my presets here in this, right? And you can see my bridge is now open. Just taking some time to read the graphics here. I will go to the option of text. You can see I can see the paragraphs here. And okay, let me see. I'm not able to scroll here. Yeah, I go to the text, and you can see I have folders over here for different categories. So I go to the animate in, and I need, you can see the preview here. If you select any one of them, you can see the preview of what that does. And what I need is fade on. That says I'm going to apply here. You can see nice fade on. I already have my playhead placed there. I have already selected the layer. I double click on it. The preset is applied to this layer. Now see if I play here. If I go back to the composition and if I show you, so sorry, let me off the lock here. Go back to the composition and you can see the preview here now. You can see the text comes animated. I can do the same thing for the other text because I'm not going to manually animate it. Once it's almost going to appear, I'm going to select the second layer as well. I'm going to apply a different effect. I'm not following the exact same effect which I've used in the other video here, but I will just use a different effect here. So go back to the category and let's take something from, let's say, I would say organic animations probably, right? And you can see we have a lot of animations, crazy animations over here now available for us to be used, right? Maybe I will use that or use this. No, that will be too crazy. So I'm going to use this, double click on it, and the text animation is applied. If I go back, you would see that I have both of them animating here. There we go. Last thing I'm going to show you here is we have a Illustrator file, right? And it has a car to it. So let's bring this car. It's a vector graphic which I have taken from Illustrator. And if I go to the full screen 100% here, you can see that if I increase the size of this car to 200, from 100% to 200, it might look pixelated to you, but not a problem. I can tell After Effects to read the vector file here. How? By a single magical button here, which says continuously rasterize the vector graphics. I will click on it and you can see how clear this car becomes. And I'm going to just animate it across the screen by using its position. So I will just keep this here out of the screen. Once my text is almost visible, starts to visible here, this is where I will start animating my car in the position. So go to the position of the car. I will take the position and go to the 8 seconds or maybe 9 seconds here and click and drag it to the other side. So it goes out of the screen here within 2 seconds. And if you see here, let's play till 9 seconds. I've taken an animation of 10 seconds here total. Keep the work area to 10 seconds. Let's play it. And this green line which you see, it's basically show that these frames have been cached to the disk, right? So the software doesn't have to calculate in the runtime. It's fully green that it will play in the real time now with the actual frame rate. So if I play now, you will be able to see that it's playing back and I have a nice animation created over here and see how the car goes across. One thing which is missing here, and I'm going to show you very quickly here. If you see the car is moving from left to right, then in the real world when the car moves and we have a some kind of a graphic, it should have motion blur, and you can enable motion blur in After Effects very easily. How? I can simply go to this layer here, enable motion blur, and you can see as soon as I click on this, motion blur is now added to the car because it's moving with a good speed. And I'm going to change its scale actually because it's looking too big. So I'll keep it 150. I just scaled it up just to show you basically that there's a continuous rasterize feature in After Effects. Keep it 100% and it will look much better. I can also go full screen. I can double right click, go over here and maximize this panel. Actually, I always use a shortcut for doing it. I never do it this way. So that's the reason I'm not able to see this option. Okay, and to do my traditional way. is that I use the tilde key. Tilde, what is a tilde key? It's a key below the escape key and just above your tab key. So if you use the tilde key while keeping your cursor here, you can go full screen and composition. You can make any panel full screen basically. For the project panel, and if I press the tilde key, I can go full screen here. So I'll keep it back for full screen and let's play this animation again. Right, there we go. And we have a complete animation of this. Currently it's now looping now. And I can take an output of it from After Effects or using the Adobe Media Encoder. So I can go to the composition. I can say add to Media Encoder queue, because Media Encoder queue is the only one which will give you the MP4 file. In After Effects, you can render it, but it will not render in MP4 or .264 or .265, which is the most used format for the web. Right. And due to some reasons, recently Adobe has removed .mp4 output from the After Effects. I'm not sure what exactly the reason is, but due to some issues, Adobe has removed that, and you can only export MP4 using the media encoder here. So we are opening the third software here. You can see what this integration is doing is the media encoder to render out this video and this composition and the animation we have created using Adobe After Effects, which is only of 10 seconds here. We can ignore just a message from my system. It takes few minutes to get it listed here. You can see I can choose MP4 here, high bitrate. I can choose where to output. So we'll go here. Just ignore the junk on my desktop, please. To save that and output this. And within few seconds, it will output with a dynamic link, because it's just a 10 seconds and very small resolution screen. So it's just outputs in seconds over here, as you can see. So I will just show you the output here. And this is the output we have now. Right? Not exactly the same, let me tell you, but almost the same we have. Right? So that's a small introduction to After Effects and what you can do with it and how can you do the animation in After Effects. Okay. I'm open to any questions, any queries any one of you has.
Thank you. Is that your full presentation?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't positive. Okay, so we will do a question and answer session actually, but while everybody is gathering their thoughts and figuring out what they want to ask you and getting those questions into the questions panel, we're actually going to take a quick moment and hear from Nishad. And Nishad is going to introduce some of our webinar related courses and upcoming webinars and discounts and promotions for everybody. So go ahead and get your thoughts in and your questions in, and we will hear from Nishad. Are you there? I'm not hearing you.
Is my screen visible?
Yes. Can you
Yes.
say something again?
I am not sure the microphone is giving me any trouble. Are you able to hear me?
I'm able to hear you. It's just a little spotty. I don't know if that's just my connection though. Vishu, can you hear him okay?
Yeah, it's a little bit of, I think his voice is breaking in between, I think.
Okay.
It was a little faded out.
Okay.
It could be my, again, I have sufficient internet. A quick over on the screen what I have. A promoter on the promotion that actually we are presenting called Netcom Plus. And I wanted to thank everybody for your participation. So quickly want to show you this page. I'll put it on the chat as well, and it will go via email. It is our subscription, which covers Adobe and various other products across the globe. Approximately 250 e-learning courses. And out of that, many of it that you might find useful, 140 additional instructional classes. So that's a key point that I want to go over that you can certainly take advantage of one course and pretty much it pays for the entire subscription. It covers vendors like Microsoft, Autodesk, EC Council, Adobe, AWS, just to name a few. You can also sort out which courses you may be interested in. So for example, if I look at here, I click on Adobe, all the Adobe related classes will be listed here that you may be interested in. And these are instructor-led classes, full-blown classes, including the textbook and the lab materials that you might need. Lastly, the price. Price is pretty cost effective. It is $29.90 per person for the entire 12 months. But if you have your organization 10 learners or more, price drops down to $24.99. So again, I'm going to put it on the chat and also we'll email you the access, but quick access on the main page under solutions you'll be able to find as well. So Leela, thank you for the opportunity and back to you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into our question answer session. Our first question that I am seeing is, does the After Effects differ from other Adobe products like Photoshop and others in the Creative Cloud?
Yes, a lot, because After Effects is a very specialized product for doing motion graphic animations and working with the VFX and visual effects with it. So yes, it's a very different software. It is used for a different purpose altogether. Used with the other Adobe Creative Cloud software like Photoshop and Illustrator, you can make graphics there. You can import in After Effects and you can animate them, like I did in my demo. So I took one Photoshop file, utilized that text to animate. I took one vector graphic from Illustrator, that car which I use in my example, and I animated it. So other tools are just helping tools in After Effects, but After Effects is the major tool in Adobe Creative Cloud for the motion graphics and VFX.
Thank you. Our next question is, how do you have more than one project open at a time?
Okay, so you can't open multiple projects in Premiere Pro as of in After Effects as of now. You can do so in Premiere, but you can't do so in After Effects. But there's one technique. What you can do is you can import one project into another project, right? And then you will be able to utilize the other project assets in your current project. So that's something you can do it, but you can't open simultaneously two projects in After Effects. It's not meant for that.
Wonderful. Okay, our next question is, how do are After Effects useful for video editors?
Okay. So it's a very important skill basically as a video editor. So when you do video editing, sometimes you need a lower third animation, you need some text animation, you want to add some animating transitions in it. Let's say alpha transitions, those who use Premiere a lot might be knowing about that. You want to customize those transitions and everything. You can basically use After Effects for the same. And After Effects as in a newer update in the Creative Cloud, you have an integration of motion graphic templates. So you can create a template in motion graphics in After Effects, and you can utilize that in Premiere Pro to make more engaging videos in your storytelling, basically. So it's a pretty helpful skill to have, and it's kind of a must skill nowadays that video editors should know After Effects as well with Premiere, or maybe with other software. Even if you're using Final Cut Pro or DaVinci Resolve, then also something people love to use After Effects with those softwares.
Thank you. Looks like we have a couple more questions in our queue. Can we create animations for UI design using After Effects?
Yes, so I think that's what's also been a focus of my PPT here, that you can basically create animations for the UX and UI. So if you're creating a prototype of, let's say in Figma or Adobe XD, you can use Looty files there. And those Looty animations can be created with After Effects. Now there's a Looty plugin which is available in After Effects, which natively exports in HTML5 your animations pretty well without any technical skills. And you can use them in your Adobe XD, Figma, or any other UX software which supports Looty files. And you can create engaging prototypes for your clients.
Wonderful. And it looks like we have one more question in our queue. When we do get through all our questions, we will go ahead and wrap up our session today. So if you have any more, go ahead and get them in now. Can you recommend any After Effects plugins?
Okay, so After Effects has a lot of bunch of effects and plugins available for it. I would just say go to aeskips.com. Remember, aeskips.com. And if you go to that particular website, it's like a marketplace of After Effects plugins, right? Recommendation totally depends on what kind of workflow you are into and what kind of a day-to-day job you do. But if you're doing a lot of motion graphics and all, I would say you can purchase some plugins related to text, like say Monkey Text, and there are a lot of other plugins available for text animations and presets available. You also have your plugins in the Creative Cloud application. And one of the plugins which I recommend is Motion Pro. If you're a starter and you want to create quick effects, you can use Motion Pro plugin in After Effects, which gives you a lot of free templates to be used in After Effects. And with just click and drag and drop, you can basically create engaging templates in After Effects.
Thank you so much. And with that, it does look like we are through all of our questions. So we're going to go ahead and take a moment to launch a quick poll to find out how many people might be interested in taking some additional training. In addition to today's webinar, we have a lot of informative webinars coming up. So please go to www.netcomlearning.com/webinars/ and to register for any of those. We want to thank you all for joining us today. If you do come up with any additional questions, please feel free to send them to us at webinar@netcomlearning.com at any time. And we hope that you found today's webinar to be very informative, and we look forward to seeing you back here with us very soon. Also, feel free to tell your friends and colleagues about our webinars and other courses. Once again, thank you everyone and have a great day. Thank you, Vishu and Nishad, for joining us today.